can just go back to February of 2021, right, or
Absolutely.
January, and this is my fourth question: how big a mistake was it for Trump not to be prosecuted for his role in inciting an insurrection? And this is sort of to the point of what accountability looks like going forward. Why do you think it didn't happen?
I think it didn't happen. I think, and this is partly, you can hang some of it on Mitch McConnell. You can hang some of it on Merrick Garland, ironically, those two people, because they both thought he would go away. Mm. That's really what happened. Mitch McConnell thought we were done with Trump. He was never coming back. There was no need to take the political hit of convicting him in an impeachment trial. That was his calculus, I believe.
Yeah.
And that was just absolutely, first of all, it's the wrong thing to do. And he knew it was the wrong thing.
He knew morally, because immoral.
He felt very strongly that this was this absolutely heinous conduct. But he made this political calculation that Trump would go away, and he looked for an excuse to acquit him. And then you have the completely opposite story of Merrick Garland. He too, they all wanted him to go away. The upper reaches of the Justice Department, they wanted to move on. President Biden wanted to move on. They wanted to basically, we're going to run, the way we're going to recover from Trump is we're going to try to be a normal government. But the problem is, they assumed he would go away.
Yeah.
They assumed that without accountability, they could make government normal again. But the accountability was essential, not only because it would have removed Trump from the scene, but it would have explained to the public why it was he needed to be removed from the scene and what it was that he had done so wrong. And that's what enabled him to spin this fantastic tale that he continues to try to spin today, like he tried to spin with Kristen Welker yesterday, that somehow he was wronged.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely incredible. And it's incredible in so many ways because he committed so many different crimes, not just the insurrection, but we see John Bolton, they did get him on something. He did he did write down some confidential or top secret information in his notebook. But what about the guy who had literally a truckload of these boxes of actual stamped, classified documents in the basement of his resort, and had his people lie to FBI agents about it, the presence of, and had people move the boxes around to hide them from the government. What about that guy?
Yeah.
And again, without accountability, you end up where we are today, and that's exactly why I'm saying impeachment has to happen. It has to happen, not just because the damage he's doing to the country, to the economy, to our republic, but for our own moral regeneration, and an example to the world. There's so many infinite reasons why we have to do this for our own good and for the sake of our children. And it's going to, just as it is going to amaze me for the rest of my days that we ever fell into this.
Yeah.
It amazes me that even people who oppose Trump strongly don't see the need to do this. And but it's going to have to happen because he's going to force it. And the reason why I say it's important to keep pushing now is because we need to make it happen faster than it otherwise would, to minimize the damage, because I think it's a race against time. The longer he goes on, people like Trump, narcissistic sociopaths like the ones we've seen throughout history, the Hitlers and the Stalins, they blow themselves up in the end.
Yeah.
And the question is the blast radius. And the longer we let this go on, the bigger the blast radius is. I've been saying that not just in 2025 and I said this years ago. That we have to get him out of public life sooner rather than later, or, the damage is going to be catastrophic, and it already is.
I mean, Merrick Garland promised to prosecute at every level, right? But he dragged his feet. He did it on the slow method, which was, just long enough to ensure that the Supreme Court could arrive on July 1st, 2024, with their, immunity ruling that got the guy off. It's in the Constitution. I don't need to tell this to you. It's in the Constitution that somebody who commits insurrection is unable to hold public office, not just president, any public office. So, there are mechanisms for that. There's also a mechanism for his removal called the 25th Amendment for somebody who's unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. Again, I don't need to tell you that, but I think it needs to be underscored that the people who have been in positions of power made the decision not to use the mechanisms that have been available to them to deal with this question. So